I remember actually my cousin who went to the mission field 2 weeks before I did, he went to Mexico. He wrote me while he was in the MTC and said, Jordan, the MTC is like preschool compared to the field. Like, you're gonna get to the mission field and it's so much harder. And I was like, oh shoot, like, and it's a lot harder. I remember flying to the mission, I was super nervous. It was hard. I was not expecting it to be such a, like, just that I would be so nervous, that I would be so unnerved. I guess that means the same thing. Yeah, it was just a really weird experience for me. So we flew into Atlanta. Our mission president picked us up, and then he stuck all the brand new missionaries on public transit on like a subway train, and we had to go contact our first, like, within our first hour of arriving in Georgia on this subway train. And I just remember I didn't do a good job because I was so nervous, and I tried to talk to this one lady in particular, but she was just like, no. So, and I was just, so there was just a group of us, like, new missionaries, like, you know, trying to get up the courage to go and talk to people. So it was really kind of like being thrown into the fire a little bit. But it's not really fire, it's like a good spiritual fire. So, I mean, after that we went to the mission home, and it was great, and we felt loved by our mission president. And then the next day I got picked up by my trainer, and we went to my first area. And that in of itself was different than I thought it was going to be also. My trainer and I didn't necessarily agree on the way missionary work should be done. He was older. He was actually going to go home when he was done training me, and I was brand new. I'm not saying he was a bad missionary, we had different opinions. Me being a brand new missionary and just coming out of the MTC, and him having been experienced in the field for almost 2 years, we butted heads here and there. And yeah, it was just, like I said, I didn't know what to, I didn't expect that. But it also turned out a really good experience for me to have him as a trainer, because it helped me learn to, it helped me learn right off the bat how to deal with companions that I didn't necessarily agree with, because I had more than one that I didn't agree with during my mission. So just being able to look at my companion and see, okay, this is what I really like about him, and these are the good qualities that he has, and this is why he's a good teacher. Focusing on the good things helped me grow to love him, and I think he did a great job training me in the end. So a big thing about Spanish speaking, so I mean, I learned I was in the MTC for 9 weeks to learn Spanish, and then I got to the field and I felt like I didn't understand anything anyone said. I remember the very first dinner in the mission field, and the members were talking to me, and I just was struggling. I didn't know what they were saying, and I'd have to have my companion translate for me what they were saying, even though I'd spent 9 weeks in the MTC learning Spanish. And I just remember going to church and sitting through church for 3 hours. I couldn't even make it through sacrament meeting without spacing off, because I was trying so hard to focus and understand. So that was really difficult, because I got frustrated with myself, thinking, come on, like, this is church, you're supposed to be paying attention, but it was so hard for me to pay attention because I didn't know what they were saying. And so yeah, it's when you get to the mission field with a new language, you won't understand what's being said, and that's common for all missionaries. It's difficult, and it takes time. For me, it probably took about 9 months until I felt like I was fluent in Spanish, where I could actually think in Spanish and talk in Spanish without having to translate from English to Spanish in my head and then talk. So it takes some time, definitely. So just don't get frustrated with yourself if you're not understanding, because you're not going to understand right away, but it will come. So the Hispanic people are so loving. They're so kind to missionaries, especially the brand new missionaries, and they're really patient, and they're just impressed that you can even speak Spanish at all. So they're there to help you too.